Aaron with Inspector Pro Insurance here. I help inspectors with their day-to-day needs. Let's talk about realtor liability, okay? Concerns you have between you and the realtor. We'll be answering a few questions like, are realtors liable for mistakes that home inspectors make, including leaving the home unlocked or missing a defect? Can realtors sign pre-inspection agreements on behalf of their clients? That's another good question. Is it okay to share a client's inspection report with the realtor? Okay. What is the relationship between realtors and home inspectors? So we're going to talk about that. So networking for home inspections, right? Your connections with the real estate agents and others where you have a networking group that you're working with. You probably have an agent that you're working with where you're doing a lot of their inspections. And each agent you're going to find probably has a list of 2 to 3 inspectors that they're using, whether you're busy or not. It's great for you to be on this list. It's how a lot of majority of inspectors get their business, right? But that's where your networking comes from. You want to be affiliated. You want to have these, real estate agents know who you are and you know by them as well. Okay. Occasional conflicts for deal killing inspections. Real estate agents warn other real estate agents, boy, he killed the deal. This inspector was terrible. He caught too much problems, right? So some inspectors get that reputation or can be known that, right, in that industry as far as real estate agents. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, depending on the inspector. It can be, but most of the time, it's most of the inspectors just following along, catching issues, and representing their client, which is what they're supposed to do. And that's what a real estate agent may be calling it killing the deal. Okay. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now that we've covered a bit about the basic relationship between realtors and home inspectors, let's get into those questions about inspector and realtor liability. So, first question, are realtors liable for mistakes that home inspectors make? Um, Difficult to answer 100% since there are some nuances to the situation. If a mistake was caused by the home inspector, they'll obviously bear the greatest blame. But a realtor might get dragged into a lawsuit alongside the home inspector because the client blames the realtors for suggesting the home inspector or other issues, right? This is a big one. If they refer you as a home inspector, right? Are they liable for that? Lawsuits can be long and expensive, even if you are innocent. With that in mind, some realtors might be extremely cautious about which home inspectors they recommend to their clients. You want to make sure you're a professional outfit. You represent yourself well, both to your client and to the realtor, so they look at you as a professional. Okay. Your actions are going to reflect upon the realtor you're dealing with the client because they might get dragged in a lawsuit if the home inspector messes up and doesn't catch important defects. So if you carry home insurance, then no, your realtor shouldn't need to worry. Okay. There's referring party coverage on our insurance that we provide. It provides automatic referring indemnification, which will cover the realtor when they refer you if they got added into a lawsuit. So this is a selling point, obviously, for you, right? Working with those realtors. Not only are you going to do a great inspection, not only are you going to be presentable and professional, but you're also going to let them know that you have automatic referring party coverage for this realtor if something comes up. The realtors can be comfortable knowing that their inspector's insurance has got their back for any mistakes that the inspector makes. So let's talk about the second question. Can realtors sign pre-inspection agreements on behalf of their clients? This is important. You have clients you're dealing with that if you're sending the agreement to be signed, when the guy's in Iraq or across the country or a different country across the world, it's hard to get a hold of them. Maybe they don't work with Sign Now or DocuSign very well to get these signed. How do you get these signed, right? So there are situations where they can't be at the inspection or you can't get them to sign ahead of time. Luckily, you may be able to have a realtor sign on the client's behalf, depending on a couple of things. First, a realtor needs to be acknowledged as the authorized agent for the client. Okay. This doesn't mean that they become the client. It means that they have a letter of attorney or a warrant of attorney that gives them the limited power of attorney on behalf of the client. Okay. So this is how to do it professionally. I've seen a lot of these agreements where the real estate agent is going to sign these, whether they got the warrant of attorney or limited power of attorney. That's how to do it correctly, right? But I've seen a lot of them that have been signed otherwise, right, by the real estate agent. So basically, if they have that, then with the client's permission, the realtor can sign it for the client. Second, it is also important that you and the realtor have everything documented from the letter of attorney to any emails that the client sends to you. Okay. Recognizing that they're approving this. You want proof that the client approved everything, preferably in writing. And also, when the realtor signs the document, it's best if they write authorized agent beneath their signature to clarify the relationship to the client, right? Is this important to have all this documentation? Absolutely. You don't want to be not doing this documentation and then have a client try to argue that they didn't sign this and didn't authorize or approve. Okay, that's not a situation. Now, the final question is one that we get all the time. Is it okay to share a client's inspection report with the realtor? And does it open you up to liability? Sharing the report with anyone other than the client can open you up to more liability. So it can. Here are two reasons why. First, the inspection report is a client's property, and they are the only ones who should choose what to do with it. It isn't your decision what to do with it. Right? Second, imagine the domino effect that giving it to the realtor could cause. A realtor might use the same agreement for future clients, right? If you've given this to a realtor, then are you acknowledging that this realtor can send it to everybody else or anybody else that they want, right? And how much liability you're opening yourself up to. They may not just be looking at this for themselves. The realtor may have other clients come and look at the property, and they may assume that they can hand this report off to anybody else that they like. So you want to be real careful with this. Simply put, if your client decides they want to give your report to the realtor, that is their right, but you should try to avoid it when possible. Okay? Hopefully that answers your questions about liability concerns between home inspectors and realtors. If you'd like to learn more about home inspection risk management tips, please subscribe to our channel. Also, for some articles on the relationship between realtors and inspectors, check out the links down in the description. Until next time, stay safe.